R. Kelly, we've spoken about. R. Kelly, I find R. Kelly to be, first of all, a very interesting foil to what's going on with Michael Jackson, because people have no problem accepting the reports, the allegations, the documentaries about R. Kelly. Everybody takes that at face value. You know, we've all kind of come together and said, you know what, R. Kelly's kind of a effed up dude. Let's not support him anymore. Michael Jackson is different. The people, the amount of defending, and not just, well, it's one thing to defend Michael Jackson, but there's an active campaign. It's really vicious, very vicious people who do not like differing opinions.
It's a reminder to like how huge Michael Jackson is, and people love him. Like,
really nothing else even comparable.
Yeah,
right.
And all over
maybe
the
Beatles,
world.
Maybe.
The thing is, it's like all
different.
the Beatles squeezed into one person.
Right,
Yeah,
that's true.
like
right.
One super.
Right.
It's all him. He's a one-man show.
Right.
And he's got the story of being a victim, and people don't want to think that this person could do horrible stuff. I didn't want to. For a long time, I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, certainly. Me too. I was always on the fence with Michael Jackson. But before we get into that, let's first talk about R. Kelly, because he was in the news. He did his first interview since, being accused, and people started canceling his shows and taking him off the radio. There was a documentary about it. This was the catalyst for all of this. Again, an interesting
Really
foil
good.
to Michael Jackson. It was a great documentary. What was it called? Leaving or no? Something about
Surviving R. Kelly.
Surviving R. Kelly. It was fantastic documentary. Basically alleging that he has a harem, really, of girls living with him who again, they're not being chained up, but they're being manipulated. They're being, brainwashed, for lack of a better word. So it's not like they can't go walk out, but
It's abuse.
it's so certainly abuse. There's no question about it. But at any rate, it's hard to explain the whole thing without watching, but go ahead and watch this clip where he's defending himself.
What would it be for me to, with my crazy past and what I've been through? Oh, right now I just think I need to be a monster and hold girls against their will, chain them up in my basement, and don't let them eat and don't let them out unless they need some shoes down the street from their uncle.
Sounds like an Eddie Murphy bit.
He's acting.
It's like an Eddie Murphy bit.
Is that some detail in the story that I'm unaware of about
I
the
have
shoes?
never
That's such
heard
a
about
weird
the
aside. Yeah.
Well, and I don't recall them ever saying he chained anyone up either. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
No.
that's part of kind of. It's
maybe
like, well, we never
maybe he's
said.
saying too much. Yeah, it's like, wait, what? Nobody accused you.
Well, no, what he does is he makes every anecdote more extreme.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just be like,
like
oh, I never did that.
Making a mockery of it by like
Yeah.
making it so crazy.
So hyperbolic that it's obviously, but nobody believes R. Kelly, so it's kind of.
Quit playing. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Is that a Papa John impression?
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it.
The sound guy's like, dude, laugh. He's got the mic on his chest. He keeps slamming. The sound guy's like, oh, God.
I've seen people even give this news channel shit for giving him any airtime.
Wow.
And I think, like,
Oh,
no.
sure. Let the guy speak. Let's hear him out.
It's legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, he's so volatile.
Yeah.
That it just goes to show that, behind closed doors is what the guy's got a temper, clearly.
Y'all just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly pause the interview to give Kelly a moment. His publicist helped calm him down.
His publicist?
That's his crisis manager.
Yeah.
Literally, it's a crisis manager publicist.
How can he afford a crisis manager when he can't even post bail?
Can't. He has no money, apparently.
That guy's working on I don't know.
Well, they say he claims that he has very little cash, but I'm sure he has like assets. You know, he probably just doesn't have liquid cash, but probably has houses and stuff. Now you think it's all gone at this point?
I've seen reports that he's dead broke.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, he just went back to prison for owing $160,000 in back child support that he never paid.
Yeah.
Nice.
So some anonymous female friend came and posted $100,000 bail for him to get out, and then 2 weeks later he went back into prison for $160,000 on back child support he never paid.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So he really, I think, doesn't have any money. Actually.
Which is crazy because at his peak success, I read he was worth $150 million.
Wow.
Imagine blowing that much money. I mean, R. Kelly was extraordinarily popular.
In the 90s, he was pretty much top.
Apparently, the full interview is going to come out tonight at 8.
Oh, we're going to get more of this?
Yeah.
I saw some clips. They were phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're really milking it.
I can't blame them. It's huge.
I love how they're dabbing his makeup as he's having a
This
meltdown.
camera keep going.
No, we're going to
This
let
is
the
not
camera keep
true.
rolling.
This is not, doesn't even make sense. Why would I hold all these women?
His publicist is like, you're not making my job easy, dude.
Their mothers and fathers told me we're gonna destroy
His
your
publicist is like, dude, snap out of it.
career.
But Kelly's emotions remained raw.
It's real girls out there missing. It's real young girls out there being abducted, being raped. Okay?
When I saw this-
they really are on.
When I saw this, I was like, you got any leads? You know
What
what
do you
I'm
know?
saying? But it's like, that argument is strange because it's like, well, you got leads? I mean,
Chains. They really do have chains on their
Very
wrists, and
obsessed
they
with
can't
chains.
get out.
Robert-
and they're ending up buried in deep.
Robert, we have to have a conversation.
This is
Really,
not me.
I don't want you just ranting at the camera.
I came here for them to hear me
Okay,
talk.
but what
I
does that
need
mean?
help.
What kind of help?
This is the kind of help I need.
Yes, what kind of help?
I need somebody to help me not have a big heart. Because my
that's like being at the job interview being like, well, my biggest defect is that I work too hard.
Yeah.
I'm too good at everything I
Right.
do.
heart is so big. People betray me, and I keep forgiving them.
You sound like you're playing the victim here. You sound like R. Kelly. You do. When I
You don't
listen
like
to you,
that.
it
Just
does
telling
sound
the
like
truth.
you're playing the victim
I'm just
card.
telling the truth. And the reason I'm emotional,
Robert,
and I
have you-
apologize for that,
No,
is
no, no,
because this
no.
is the first time I was able to say
speak.
something. I've said nothing.
Gail, you remained tough.
So, what thoughts?
It's amazing how
I find him very credible.
not convincing this performance was.
Well, what's even less convincing is when he brings out his 2 girlfriends to
Yeah, which was the
speak for him,
follow-up.
you know? Yeah, I mean, for me, mostly, I'm struck by how different the reaction to R. Kelly is compared to Michael Jackson. And, you know, people always joke, oh, like, have you seen the Michael Jackson documentary, as somehow trying to lampoon people who are like, oh, I watched the documentary and it changed my mind. And they act like, oh, well, you haven't done any research. All you've done is watch the documentary. But the R. Kelly one actually has less firsthand, because the R. Kelly one is just from the parents' perspective.
Yeah.
But the Michael Jackson one is firsthand experiences.
And I actually felt like in the Michael Jackson one, throughout them telling their stories, you are always seeing evidence to corroborate the story.
So corroborated.
They're saying, like, Michael would come to our house every night, and then there's pictures of him in their house.
Yeah,
you
he
know,
would
and-
send us faxes every night.
And
Pictures
they
of
have the faxes,
He would send
like-
us.
That was one of
vid-
the weirdest things.
Yeah,
those
the
faxes.
faxes.
Oh my god.
He used
So
to
creepy.
send us letters. He used to write us notes. He used to call and leave messages.
Yeah.
They've got all of it. He gave us memorabilia. He did this. He did that. He got all of it. They got pictures. They got photos. They got everything to corroborate every detail.
And I mean, even public footage of Michael with the family or Michael with the
Yeah.
kid, like
Yeah.
it's all out there. So I felt like, if anything, the Michael Jackson
Way more
documentary
credible.
had a lot more evidence.
I feel like it was absolutely credible. And people who are decrying the documentary are protesting it. And out of protest are not watching it. I find that ironic because they're so obsessed with research. But this documentary, even if you are dead, even if you totally believe Michael Jackson is innocent, this is a documentary worth watching because it's research. It's first-hand account of people who who are accusing him of one of the most heinous crimes you can imagine. So even if you're dead set on Michael Jackson's innocent, these guys are fraud, you gotta watch it for research. At least if I'm having a discussion about a book that you haven't read, you can't really talk to me about the book. If it's like you haven't watched it. How can you have a conversation about it?
So I guess they're thinking they're not watching it out of protest because they disagree with the concept of making a one-sided documentary or not including like the other side of Michael Jackson's family or whatever.
And I'll just, to be devil's advocate, their argument is that prior to it being released, at least on HBO, it was screened a couple times, I think at Sundance and everything. The PR campaign already kicked into full gear to discredit the guys. So before anybody even had the opportunity to watch it, they had been convinced that there's no reason to because these guys, don't have any credibility. Why should I listen to them?
Right. Well, and a lot of the stuff I hear people saying is stuff like, oh, they already testified under oath and now they changed their mind because they're getting paid from HBO. And somebody who says that is somebody who clearly hasn't watched the documentary because that's one of the main thrusts of the documentary is exploring how can you testify under oath several times for Michael Jackson and then all of a sudden come out so hard against him.
And it's way bigger than
They weren't
that.
paid by HBO, by the way. Sorry, Hila. They weren't paid by anyone.
Yeah, that too. But that point is exactly why this documentary is bigger than just Michael Jackson, and that's what Oprah was saying in the third part, because it's about abuse. And you can go on your whole life not knowing even that what happened to you as a kid was wrong. And then at some point as an adult, all of a sudden understand what happened. And like, I think it's just people don't understand abuse.
Right.
And so they're like, oh, they changed their story and they stood for him before. But I think they really showed that part so well in the documentary. And that was why I found it so, like, good.
Yeah.
Incredible, yeah.
Well, we will talk more about that because we are working our way down to that. I have plenty to say about that.
Shimon! Hey!
So let's watch the girls interviewed on R. Kelly.
This is the first time hearing, to be honest with you, that your parents are trying to get money from R. Kelly.
Okay.
Because your father told a very different story to me last night.
Yeah, he's the manipulative. He's very manipulative, so he's the one you need to watch out for. But my dad and my mom, they started to send threats to both me and him. They said, oh, I'll put all your naked pictures all over the world. I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to ruin him. If he doesn't send $20,000 to this bank account by Monday, oh, I'm going to put everything out there and then $10,000 after that. You're trying to solicit me like I'm some hoe. I'm not. I'm your child. Exactly.
Yeah, you sound very angry with your parents. You sound very angry and very pained.
It's very insightful of her.
You appear to be
Tell me,
upset.
Ashwa, why you're crying. Tell me.
I think it's good what
because
she's
you
doing,
guys don't know the
they're
truth. You guys
clearly so unstable.
Right.
facade that our parents are saying. This is all lies for money. And if you can't see that, you're ignorant and you're stupid.
I was like, what money? The guy can't even get post bail. This is the worst shakedown ever.
That's the worst claim, that their parents just want their kids back. Like, they haven't seen these girls in years now. They can't talk to them. The last thing they want is money.
And their claim is that the parents have naked pictures of them together and that they're threatening to release. How would the parents have that?
I don't
I'm not
know.
sure. That's pretty
Everything
wild.
she said here is the first time anyone has said there's no background to the parents asking for money or all that stuff.
Well, yeah, and then she goes on to say, well, I'll just play it.
As because you want to be. All because that's the world we live in. Negativity sells. Gossip is what sells. Rumors are what sells.
But Jocelyn and Azrael, this is more than gossip. This is more than just rumors. These are decades of allegations.
She's fantastic, by the way, the interview.
We're not here to talk about decades. We're here to talk about what our parents are doing right now. Right. And what they're doing right now is all for money. Right.
Now, both sets of parents deny ever asking Kelly for money or receiving money from him.
By the way, she was saying earlier, before this timestamp, that It was her parents' idea for her to go become a singer for R. Kelly. I mean, come on. They were like, you need to go be with R. Kelly and send us money.
Yeah.
Even the most wild, evil people wouldn't dream something like that up, you know. It's just not plausible, but whatever. Here.
You know,
this
as
is
I
a great
watched
detail.
as I was talking to them, because I had talked to the father, there are two very different stories. I'm sure Mr. Clary, if he watches this morning, his head will explode because he has a very different version of what these young women are saying. And his team had told us that R. Kelly would not be in the room. After the interview started, he was around the corner behind them. They couldn't see him. But at points during the conversation, he would cough very loudly like that. So they were aware that he was there.
How wild is that?
Creep.
Yeah, that's a
God damn.
That's a really crazy detail. Daddy's listening.
Chain them up in my basement.
He didn't do that, Zach.
Y'all killing me with this.
Remember, he didn't do that.
So crazy.
And furthermore, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the court, I leave you with all the evidence you need.
Do you have your passport?
Do you have your
Did you get your
passport?
shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob
To America?
Dude, the face he makes there is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Do you
Have your passport?
Did you get your shots?
I love how clinical it is.
with Rob?
It's so not romantic.
Yeah. Girl, did you get your shots? Because I don't want malaria.
Do you have your passport?
Passport! Did you get your shots? To America!
America.
The band's like, oh shit, do we keep drumming or what?
It's like barely
This is
singing.
like
at
the
that
greatest clip
It's so good.
ever.
This is not a joke. Girl, meet me in back. Hit me with that music. Ooh. This is not a joke. Oh. Girl, did you get your shots? Your shots. Girl, do you have your papers? Papers. This is not a joke. Please meet me in back and back. Girl, we going to America. I ain't got no chains, but I got mind games to lock you up, and you gonna call me daddy.
Is this camera on me?
I said, girl, do you have your shots? Do you have STD reports, America? Yeah. So, if you're really pretty, I'll accept gonorrhea. Chlamydia's okay, but nothing curable can stay. If you've got hepatitis or HIV, I'm gonna have to skip you and I'm going overseas. But if you've got your paper and your passport, you can come with me. My name is Robert, and you can live in my rape dungeon. Call me daddy. You can get some shoes, but don't get a sandwich. The Jews run Hollywood.
How stupid would I be to do that? How stupid would I be to do that?
Did you get your shots? Do you have your papers? This is not a joke. Ooh, Jamona. I love this clip. Yeah, click.
America.
It's like so. But you know how many girls are in the audience are like, he's talking to me. He's actually making a proposition to me right
I don't think he's joking.
No, this is the first clip ever. Do you have your shots? I mean, dude, come on.
I love that it's got the Ethiopian.tv at the top too.
Girl, would you
Everything
like
about
to
it is
come
Everything
back
about
with Rob to America?
Happy New Year.
Look at that face. That
Also,
face
the
he
way
makes
he
right there
says,
is
you want to
so
come back with
weird.
Rob. It's like so personal, right?
It's so creepy.
Do you have
This is what we call grooming,
Yes.
which you will learn more about in our next story. With Rob to America.
How stupid would I be to do that?
Girl, do you have HIV? Then you can't come with me. If you have HIV, then I don't want you, my PP inside of you. Chlamydia is curable if you're a 10. If you're a 7, then I'll skip if you have chlamydia. If you're an 8, I'll think about it.
How did you even think about that? Do you have your shots?
It's fantastic. It's so wonderful.
It's coming from the heart. His heart's too big. And
It's just so real.
yeah.
The thing is, so like when you come from a place like Ethiopia or even Israel, you have to get immunization
I
shots.
know, yeah.
So this comes from a very technical place. The guy knows what he's talking about.
It's been through it a couple of times,
Yeah.
trying to bring girls back.
Precisely. Oh, I just clicked ourselves. Yeah, I don't want to watch it.
Chain them up in my basement.
Do you have your passports? Have you shaved your butthole? To America. Yo, girl, come with Robert. If you've shaved your butthole, give me pictures and back or let me inspect it. Did you bring your immunization report? Okay, great. Do you have a valid passport? Okay, great. Now, do you have your STD report? Looks good.
Background check?
You'll ride coach and I'll ride first class. Going back to America. I've got an extra room in my mansion. Welcome to my harem. Did I mention that I have 10 other girlfriends? One I make dress up like a boy. That's true in the documentary. There's one I may dress up like a boy.
Wait, what?
Yep, that's true in
Heard that
America.
Wait, you haven't seen it then?
Not the R. Kelly one, no.
Ooh.
Yes.
And frankly, I'm not going to watch it because I know he's innocent.
I know he's innocent, and it's a protest.
Listen, he was on trial and he was acquitted.
R. Kelly was acquitted in a trial. That means he's innocent. And do you have your shots and your documents?